Come on now, put some thunder on it.
That's right.
Woo, doggies. Put some thunder on it when you get in the gym, okay? I tell you what, if a chicken can pull a wagon, then brother, we gonna hitch him up.
Sounds good to me. This is Mark Belton, SuperTraining Gym, the strongest gym in the West. I'm here today with my boy, Jacob Ross. We're gonna go over some squats today. Jacob, fill me in on where you're at with your squats.
Yeah, I've never been a great squatter. Best I ever did to me was right at 500. And I switched to low bar recently in the last 4 months, and I've been squatting that way for this meet prep. The weight's going up very well, much faster than I was doing before, but my form is really all over the place because it's just very different for me. So I asked Mark if he would step in and help me lock it down and get it dialed in.
Never seen him squat before. This isn't a trick, but I think that I'm going to be able to help him quite a bit. We'll check his setup. We'll check his width. As a coach, from a coaching standpoint, what I'll be looking at is I'm going to be looking at the grip that he chooses. I'm going to be watching his steps that he takes out of the rack. I'm going to watch the width at which he squats at and kind of what's going on with his knees. Watch his torso position, his head position. Basically, kind of getting a checklist head to toe on what it is he's doing. And then trying to figure out how do we get him to move more efficiently. Because the main thing in a squat, or really with any powerlifting movement, is that we stay in a good position, a good strong position throughout the entire range of motion. And we're going to do that by being in a solid position, by making sure that we're in the most optimal position for ourselves. And so each person is going to be so different in a squat, in a bench, or in a deadlift. And so I'm just going to be kind of watching that, and I'm going to see exactly what he's doing. And then from there, I'm going to just kind of coach him up. We probably won't really say a whole lot until I get to about 3 plates or so. So let's check it out.
Perfect.
Keep going. Go ahead and do some reps there. I'm already noticing a few things that I would view as being a little bit inefficient. You see where the bar is, you can kind of see there's an opportunity for that bar to roll upward on his back when he comes out of the bottom of that squat. Go ahead and rack it. Now, there's also a possibility, again, this is a pretty lightweight, especially for him. There's also a possibility that he likes to use his lower back when he squats, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. A lot of lifters, Filipino Thunder over there, uses a forward lean, and when he has that forward lean, he's been able to successfully squat over 800 pounds in competition. And so clearly it can work. You can use your lower back. The thing that can't happen, though, when you do use your lower back is that your back angle can't change. For Jacob here, with where the bar positioning was, it looks like the bar has an opportunity to roll up his back, which then would change the position of his entire back. So we're going to look at it as we go heavier. We're not going to change anything quite yet.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to change a couple things about what he's doing. Number one, I'm going to throw some elbow sleeves on him, just because he needs he needs to be more branded, right? He's got the ST shirt, he's got the gangster wraps, he's got the strong knee sleeves, he's got the strong belt. He could be more outfitted, he could have more logos on him, so that's what we're going to do. No, I really do think it's important that we create some warmth and comfort for the elbows. What we're trying to ask our body to do during this lift is pretty strenuous for your shoulders and elbows. And because a lot of us end up building big shoulders, you can see he's got big, beefy, look at the size of his fucking shoulders and his pecs, right? All this stuff gets tight, so what gets compromised?
Yeah.
Fuck you and fuck your elbow, right?
Yeah.
So the elbow starts to get compromised, so protect yourself before you wreck yourself, even though it's not a heavy weight for him. We're just going to throw some elbow sleeves on him because I want to try to create more comfort so he's got one less thing to worry about. That's actually why he's wearing the wrist wraps as well and the knee sleeves.
Yeah.
Okay, aside from the sales pitch of the elbow sleeves, I do think it's important that you try to protect yourself before you get in a compromised position and before you get hurt. Once you get hurt, you're too far behind and you can't do the things that you love. Yeah. Some of the things I was examining with his squat already, his form is actually pretty good. There's a couple things happening that I want to try to figure out a way to manage a little bit better. And so that's what we're going to kind of get into right here. Now, Jacob just mentioned to me on the podcast that we just did, they used to train a kid that had a lot of pain in his feet and that he didn't feel qualified to even really help the kid, but nobody really knew much about the situation. So what he did was he used some unorthodox techniques, and he used some stuff that you probably literally had no idea whether it was going to work or not, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Same thing here. I've been coaching people for a long time. I'm the motherfucking people's coach, right? You think I would have all the answers. I don't, and I should never think that I do. I'm going to give him suggestions right now to help him. Those suggestions could lead to a bigger squat. Those suggestions, it's also possible that those suggestions are not the correct suggestions for him. So because his form is already fairly solid, we're going to work on trying to correct a few things, and the things that I might ask him to do right now, there's a possibility that it doesn't work. As a coach, you need to recognize that. You need to stop being an asshole. You need to stop having an ego, and you need to stop worrying about what education you have and this and that, what certification you have. None of that shit matters. What matters is, can you move the needle for somebody? Can you help them? Can I help him make progress right here? He's going to tell me, he's going to give me that feedback right away, better or worse. So here we go. So first thing I want to see you do, this is a big guy. You look at how wide the shoulders are. He's got some big old traps up here, right? So first thing we're going to do is we're going to widen the hands out a little bit, but we do want the hands to be in as tight as he can handle, but we also want the chest to be up a little bit. We want to have some rigidness through the back. So go ahead and arch your back up a little bit. We want to try to pull the spine up a little bit, and we want to try to keep that chest nice and high and keep the shoulder blades back a little bit. When we're benching, when we're squatting, when we're deadlifting, elbows come down and in. The other thing that we're going to do for now is we're going to pull the thumb off of the bar. Again, this doesn't always magically change anything for everybody, but it can change something for him possibly. So that's why we're going to give it a try. The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to try to widen out the stance a little bit because of how wide his shoulders are and just how wide his base is in general. I have a feeling that he's going to be able to handle a little bit wider position with his feet. So those are the only two major changes for this set, and we're going to see how it goes. Lastly, before he starts, you can't give somebody too many changes at one time. One or two things per set, one or two things at a time. I saw some things that changed that I thought were really good, and I saw a couple things change that weren't great. So the thumbless grip looked like it worked pretty good. The wider grip looked like it worked pretty good. And then the wider stance, maybe for him, his hips might not be able to handle that wider stance. It looked like it was hard for him to control his knees. They were still forced out because the weights are still light, but it looked like it almost made him fold over a little bit more. How did the set feel?
Yeah, I would agree. I felt, coming out of the hole, I just felt weird.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I was in a great groove. I wasn't 100% confident in my position. The bar actually felt really snug though up top.
Good.
Like, it felt like it was part of me. Probably the most melded it's ever felt.
That's important, that the bar feels connected to your body, that you feel connected to the barbell when you bench, when you squat, and when you deadlift. And so we're going to have him go with a little closer stance on this next one, and we're going to keep everything else up top the same, and we're going to see how that works. So he went with the wider grip. We're sticking with that. Check. Thumbs off the bar. He seemed to like that. The thumbs off the bar, if we look as I'm holding the bar here, my elbows get locked in here by the mobility of my wrist. As soon as I get rid of that thumb, as soon as I pull that thumb off, watch my elbows, they'll kind of drop, right? They drop a little lower. Elbows down and in. Bench, squat, deadlift. That's powerlifting, right? Keep the elbows close to the body. So once we pull that thumb off there, it helps us. Some people don't have any wrist mobility issues. Sometimes bigger guys will have that. So he's got the wider grip. He's got the thumbless grip. He's going back with the same stance that he had earlier. And the one small change on this set will be that the bar is going to be a little bit higher up on his back, because when he was setting up last time, he kind of set up like this and he just stayed here. Well, I want him not necessarily so much with his head, but with his torso and his chest and his thoracic spine to pull up and then get a huge breath right there. And when he does that, if the bar is in the same exact spot as it was, the bar is going to feel like it's going to kind of roll down his back a little bit more. So We're going to have him pick that chest up a little bit, keep that tightness. While he's keeping that tightness, the bar is going to be a little bit higher up on his back on this set. There's one missing piece of the puzzle a little bit here, and I don't know if you feel it, but I was seeing it, and it's very, very common. He's got the mobility to go down halfway. Once he gets to 3/4 of the way, then he starts to go like that a little bit, right? We want to really sit in that pocket as bravely as we possibly can and keep that positioning and if you force your body to go through that positioning over and over again, it might not feel great the first couple times you do it, but after a while that'll get ingrained into your body. You don't need to hip hinge to get any more depth.
Okay.
You know, this does not make your hips go lower.
Right.
It kind of feels like that because you're kind of searching, and then you'll be like, oh, I'm just going to go lower this way.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, your butt didn't move at all. We need your butt to drop towards the ground the entire time.
Okay.
That's why a lot of times someone who's squatty, someone who's shorter, they'll come up and they'll be like, beep, 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 and they nail their squats. They're super efficient at squatting. A lot of times when we got a longer athlete, what are you, 6'2", 6'3"?
6'3".
We got a guy who's 6'3". He's got more shit going on. He's got more stuff to deal with. He has a longer, bigger body to try to manage during this exercise. He's got to organize his body stronger and better than somebody who's smaller than him. And so what we're going to do on this next set is we're going to see if we can get a little bit of something out of him paying attention to his feet. Doesn't have to do a whole lot with his feet, but I want to see him kind of connect his hips, dig his hips, screw his feet into the floor, which is going to lock his hips in a little bit better. And I want him to stand up. I would like you to stand up a little straighter before you ever start your squat. Where you start oftentimes is going to be where you finish. And for now, Jacob is he wants to be in this position a little bit. And I think that's why when he gets to the bottom, he's kind of wanting to do that. Yeah. So my theory here on this one is keep the hips a little bit more forward, break at the knees first, almost push the knees forward first, which he's told me he has had a little bit of knee pain in the past, so it's not going to be easy for him. Hips forward, knees first, and really dive down to that hole, maintaining a good, strong position. Good. Drive the hips forward. Yep, chest up. There you go. Fuck yeah, there you go, good. Don't lean forward. Chop your fucking nuts off. Come on, stay up. Up! There you go, good. Rack it. Now, so the biggest benefit right there, especially on that first squat, that was a real beauty. The beauty of that right there is you can come up earlier. You went well below parallel.
See, you know what's weird to me? It felt like I didn't hit parallel.
Oh yeah, no,
just
you.
in my head, just in my mind.
Yeah, no, you. I mean, unless I'm.
No, I'm with you.
Yeah, no, it seems so.
Because I'm used to ducking under, like you're saying.
When I've hit some of my best squats, or even like sometimes a deadlift or something, sometimes you're kind of thinking like, what was the difference, you know? And the difference is leverage. Your leverage felt so good and felt so strong. It's kind of almost uncommon to you because you're always leaning into it with your back.
Yep.
And so with this if you can groove through that positioning over and over again, your squat is going to become a machine. And the 600-pound squat in competition is going to be a thing that we're not even talking about anymore because we'll be talking about 650.
Awesome. That's where it needs to be. As I was telling Mark this morning, I always squat at high bar because when I'm training athletes, it's easy to teach, it's safe to teach. I've always been told that I should try low bar. I never really did. I decided for this meet prep, why not? My squat sucks. And my squat got better. But I've noticed, like what Mark's saying about how I really dive. I use my low back. It's pretty strong. And I haven't really worked on the stuff that he's talking about. I mean, it's a difference between, I'm working with one of the best guys in the world, watching me squat. And he's just pointing out little things that, even right now, that last squat is crazy. It felt high, but it wasn't. But it's because my chest was up and I could sink my hips better, and it was easy. I just got to mentally train myself to groove it now so I can get better. I always want to learn.
As athletes and as people that listen to the Power Project, remember, if not listening to the Power Project, you have no life. If you are listening to the Power Project, I got some bad news for you. You have no life. Those of you that have been listening, those of you that have been paying attention, know that we leave no stone unturned in our training. Strength is never a weakness. See y'all later.